Alright guys, part one, the belly. For this part we're going to be using a ball roughly the size of a soccer ball to land. The ball I'm using here is a little bit different, as you can no doubt tell. It's called a Yoga Tune-Up Gorgeous ball. It's inflatable, so you can inflate it to your desired liking. I prefer this one tube of soccer ball or basketball or even a big kettlebell because it's not as intense and I feel like I can hang out here longer and get more work done. But any of those options I just mentioned are certainly fine and will do the job just as well. Um, the way this works is you're lying on the ball and you're breathing out against it, as you can see that I'm doing here. I'm basically breathing out against the ball with my belly, trying to push the ball away from my body. And then once I reach the end range of my breathing where I can't breathe out anymore, I'm going to contract my abs for 2 seconds as hard as I can, and then I'm going to relax everything, and then you'll notice the ball is sinking deeper and deeper into my body. And all we do is we repeat this cycle. Nothing fancy here, there's no fancy moving around. You can move around a little bit, as I'm doing right here. What's another thing that's great about this ball is it's sticky, so it really grips into your skin, so when you move around, it gets a nice little stretch of your soft tissue as well. But the main thing we want to do here again is just breathe out against that ball as hard as we can, contract our abs for 2 seconds, and then relax. I like to do this for about 5 minutes as a rule, just because I feel like that's the best amount of time to actually get something accomplished. If I hang out here for 30 seconds, nothing happens, and it's just a waste of time. So 5 minutes, again, as you can see right there, that is the Yoga Tune-Up Gorgeous ball. You can get that thing on Amazon. It's not too expensive, and I think it's definitely worth the money. For the second part, we're going to be using the softball, or the ball that I have here. Again, another product placement. This is a Mobility Wad Supernova. You can get that at mobilitywad.com. It is extremely effective. You'll notice that nice texture really lets it grip into your skin. We're going to be going after the psoas. So you notice here I was indicating that where we want to put the ball. We want to put the ball just outside, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches outside of our belly button on either side. That is, the psoas is a deep hip flexor. It's not located on the surface. It attaches at your lumbar spine, the front part of your lumbar spine, and loops through your pelvis and attaches at your hip. So it is a hip flexor and also a hip rotator. And the way this works is like the larger ball from before. We're going to put that ball in that spot I indicated. We're going to breathe out against that ball, contract the abs, and then relax. And we want to do this for maybe about 7 repetitions, something like that, ballpark number. Once that's accomplished, the ball is sunken in sufficiently, and then you'll notice what I'm doing here is I am rotating my hip, because another action of that psoas, like I said, is hip rotation. And pinning that hip rotator down and then applying movement is a very, very effective way to get the muscle to relax. For the next part, guys, we're going to be going after the obliques. If you don't know where they are, they're very simple to find. They're basically on your lateral abdomen, in between your rib cage and your pelvis, right in that area. And what you want to do here is you just want to put the roller on the ground and then place your body perpendicular to that roller. And what I like to do here is just seesaw back and forth on those obliques. It's also perfectly acceptable to roll up and down towards your rib cage and towards your pelvis with the foam roller. I find, actually, to be honest, that's a little bit too excruciating for me because I'm a baby when it comes to my obliques because they're jacked up. So I like to actually seesaw. Seesawing for me lets me get more work done because I can hang out here a little bit longer. So again, just rolling side to side, so almost onto your low back, and then back down on to your abs, creating this nice seesawing effect here. I like to do this for about 3 minutes either side. Really, again, trying to focus in on the areas that have most discomfort. So for me, it's a little bit more toward the front. I know it looks like I'm almost on my rectus abdominis here, but I'm still on the obliques. And any foam roller will work with this. I prefer the rumble roller because those knobs let it grip into your skin more. But yeah, like the generic foam roller, the black one, PVC pipe, anything you can find will do just nicely here. Okay, so now we're going to be going after our glutes. It's very straightforward. What you want to do is you want to put a lacrosse ball or softball on the floor and sit on it. And we're just going to start rolling around. Really, again, hunting out for those tight areas, tight, tender spots. That's what we're after here. We're not after areas that are not uncomfortable. Personally, for me, it's a little bit more toward the outside of my glutes, toward the much more toward the lateral hip, where I have most of my pain. And so that's what I like to roll out. In just a few moments here, you're going to see me halt on an area, and then I'm going to be adding in some movement. It's a very effective way to release muscle knots by pinning down a painful area and then applying movement through that area. With rolling out the glutes, I like to do it between at least 3 to 4 minutes. Again, that's just to make sure I get a fair amount of work done. Yeah, here I am rolling out the glutes, or I should say adding movement, rather, to them. You're going to find that this is going to relieve a lot of low back stiffness for me. Certainly it relieved at least about 60-70% alone of my low back pain. Alright guys, I really hope this helps. It certainly worked wonders for me. Moving on. Alright, moving on to the upper hamstrings. This is, other than the glutes, this is my other go-to mobilization for really pulverizing that annoying low back stiffness, low back pain. It's very straightforward. What you do here is you're basically going to position the ball right beneath where your glutes end. You know, if you're looking at yourself in a mirror and you see that little fold just below your, just below your butt cheeks, that's where you're going to be putting the ball, and you're just going to be sitting on it like this. And what I like to do here is really roll side to side in that area, and then once I found a really awful spot, I'm just going to start hinging forward from my hip like so. I like to do this actually for about 5 minutes a side, given the kind of activities I do. Lots of deadlifts, so for example, because of all those deadlifts, that area gets really tight. If you'd like, as you can see here, one other thing I'm doing is I've rolled the ball down a little bit, sort of the middle of my posterior thigh, and now I've started moving my knee, because that is the other action of the hamstring, is to flex the knee. So by pinning down a painful area on the lower part of the hamstring, it's a great way to relieve tension there as well. Again, I like to do this for about 5 minutes a side.